Chapter 35. The Mardi Gras climax. The French Quarter was a blazing inferno on Fat Tuesday's final night, its Mardi Gras revelry defying Chief Inspector Grayson's curfew in a riot of torchlit floats, sequined masks, and the wail of brass bands. The crew of Comus Parade, the season's grand finale, snaked through Canal Street, its papier-mâché gods towering over crowds drunk on beads and absinthe. Julien Dubois and Celeste Moreau stood in a shadowed alley off Rampart Street, their faces half hidden by borrowed masks, Julien's a black domino, Celeste's a silver filigree, to blend with the chaos. Julien's scar burned, Madame Zora's talisman and Amelie's journal heavy in his coat, while Celeste's amulet glinted, her notebook tucked away, her camera ready. The Order of the Crescent Moon's final ritual at Magnolia's end was hours away, and the killer would strike again to complete their 10 sacrifices. Julien checked his revolver, his voice low, urgent. 8 dead, Lavigne, Thibodeau, Leclerc, Clara, Dupont, Martineau, Rousseau, Blanchard. 2 more to seal their ritual, tonight at the plantation. Devereaux's leading it, and he knows we're coming. We infiltrate, find the altar, break it like Zora said. No hesitation. Celeste adjusted her mask, her green eyes fierce despite the bruise from her abduction. We've got proof, your ledger, Amelie's journal, the mansion's artifacts. But they're desperate, Julien. That note, the moon rises soon, means they're ready to end this, whatever it takes. My article's got the city watching, but it's us against the order now. Julien's scar itched. Amelie's words stopped Devereaux. The moon must fall, a fire in his chest. Her journal had named Devereaux as the order's leader, tying her 1916 murder to the current killings, a decade-long ritual of blood for power. The artifacts from Devereaux's hidden room, masks, knives, a pendant like Amelie's, were damning, but the ritual's final crescent loomed, its last sacrifice a mystery. Zora's talisman, meant to shield him, felt fragile against the order's wrath. They slipped into the parade, the crowd's roar swallowing their steps. The Comus float, a gilded chariot pulled by masked horses, loomed ahead, its crew tossing doubloons stamped with crescent moons, a chilling echo of the order's symbol. Julien's gaze scanned the revelers, searching for cloaked figures or Devereaux's predatory silhouette. The parade's chaos was the killer's perfect cover, as Julien's theory had proven, each murder timed to a crew's march. Tonight, Comus was the order's stage, and Magnolia's end their altar. Celeste clutched her camera, her voice steady but tense. The tunnel exit near the plantation, Tommy showed us. We'll use it to get in unseen. But if Devereaux's there, he'll have guards, maybe more masks. We need to be ready for anything. Julien nodded, his cigarette unlit, his thoughts racing. Grayson's corruption, Tommy's redemption, Zora's framing, all threads led to this moment. The order had killed Amelie, Clara, and 6 others, their ritual a twisted voodoo pact for dominion, as Zora had warned. The 9th victim could fall any moment, the 10th, the final crescent, a life to seal their power. Julien's failure to save Amelie drove him now, his vow to stop Devereaux a debt to her memory. They broke from the parade, commandeering a Model T from a distracted reveler, and sped toward Magnolia's end. The city's lights faded, the Mississippi's dark waters guiding them through fog-shrouded bayou. The plantation's ruins loomed ahead, sagging columns, moss-draped oaks, a place of ghosts and blood. Julien parked in a thicket, his lantern dim, Celeste's flashlight steady. The tunnel entrance waited, a yawning maw to the order's lair. We end this tonight, Julien said, his voice steel, the talisman grounding him. For Amelie, for Clara, for the city. Celeste's hand brushed his, her resolve matching his. For the truth. They descended, the tunnel's chill a prelude to the ritual's fire, knowing the killer was waiting, their blade poised for the next sacrifice under the crescent moon's unforgiving gaze. Chapter 37. The 9th victim. The French Quarter was a tempest on Fat Tuesday's final night, its Mardi Gras revelry a whirlwind of torchlit floats and masked crowds, defying the curfew's grip. Beneath the crew of Comus Parade's gilded chaos, Julien Dubois and Celeste Moreau navigated a shadowed alley off Chartres Street, their borrowed masks, Julien's black domino, Celeste's silver filigree, blending with the throng. Julien's scar burned, Madame Zora's talisman and Amelie's journal heavy in his coat, while Celeste's amulet glinted, her camera hidden under her cloak. They trailed the Order of the Crescent Moon's cloaked procession, their crescent moon masks a chilling beacon to the final ritual at Magnolia's end. 9 sacrifices had been promised, 8 already dead, and the killer was poised to strike again. The Order's 6 figures moved swiftly through the alley, their black cloaks stark against the parade's sequined tide. Julien and Celeste followed, their steps muffled by the crowd's roar, the parade's trumpets drowning out their breaths. The procession descended a hidden grate into the bootlegger tunnel, its damp walls scratched with crescent moon symbols. Julian's lantern flickered, Celeste's flashlight steady as they crept behind, the tunnel's chill a stark contrast to the quarter's heat. The Order's footsteps echoed ahead, a rhythmic march to their bloody altar. Halfway through the tunnel, the procession halted, a low chant rising, Creole words, twisted with menace. Julian signaled Celeste to dim her light, and they pressed against the wall, peering around a bend. The Order stood in a circle, their masks glinting, a figure slumped at their feet. Julian's heart sank as he recognized Senator Claude Renaud, a political titan tied to Devereaux's shipping deals. A grotesque papier-mâché mask, red and gold leering, with a crescent moon etched on its forehead, covered his face, blood pooling from a stab wound in his chest, the leather straps knotted tightly. "Ninth victim," Julian whispered, his voice grim, his revolver drawn. "They killed him here, in transit to the ritual." The senator's death, so brazen in the tunnel, confirmed the Order's desperation, their ritual racing to its climax. Amelie's journal, naming Devereaux, burned in his memory. Her murder a decade ago was this same pattern, a sacrifice to power. Celeste's camera clicked softly, capturing the scene, her breath shallow but resolute. "One more sacrifice," she hissed. "The final crescent Zora warned about. They're heading to Magnolia's End now, and we're out of time." Her amulet pulsed, a faint shield against the Order's menace. The chant stopped, and the Order moved on, leaving Renaud's body as a marker. Julian crouched beside the corpse, his gloved fingers brushing the mask. A folded note slipped from the senator's sleeve, its script elegant. "One remains. The moon claims it's due." Julian's scar itched. The taunt was personal, daring him to stop the final sacrifice. He pocketed the note, his resolve steeling. "They're taunting us, Celeste. Devereaux's close, and he's ready to end this." Celeste nodded, her eyes blazing. "Then we end it first. The tunnel leads to the plantation. We follow, break the altar, expose them." Her voice was fierce, the bruise from her abduction a badge of defiance. They pressed deeper, the tunnel's darkness swallowing the parade's din. The Order's footsteps faded ahead, their masks a ghostly flicker in the gloom. Julian gripped the talisman, Amelie's words, "The moon must fall," a vow to stop Devereaux. The crescent moon's shadow loomed, its final sacrifice a heartbeat away, and Julian knew the plantation's altar would be a battlefield where the Order's bloodlust would meet its end or theirs. Chapter 36. The masked procession the French Quarter was a living pulse on Fat Tuesday's final night, its Mardi Gras revelry exploding in a frenzy of torchlit floats, sequined masks, and the wail of jazz bands. The crew of Comus Parade surged through Royal Street, its gilded floats crowned with papier-mâché titans, casting shadows on crowds drunk on beads and the scent of spilled absinthe. Julian Dubois and Celeste Moreau moved through the chaos, their borrowed masks, Julian's a black domino, Celeste's a silver filigree, shielding their identities. Julian's scar burned, Madame Zora's talisman and Amelie's journal heavy in his coat, while Celeste's amulet glinted, her camera hidden under her cloak. The Order of the Crescent Moon's final ritual at Magnolia's End was imminent, and the killer would strike twice more to complete their 10-sacrifice pact. They'd abandoned their Model T at the quarter's edge, the curfew's patrols forcing them to blend with the parade. Julian's revolver pressed against his ribs, his eyes scanning the crowd for signs of the Order. Amelie's journal had named Vincent Devereaux as their leader, her 1916 murder a prelude to the 8 victims now dead: Lavigne, Thibodeau, Leclerc, Clara, Dupont, Martineau, Rousseau, Blanchard. The artifacts from Devereaux's mansion confirmed the ritual's bloodlust, and Zora's warning about the final crescent drove them to act before the 9th victim fell. Celeste nudged Julian, her voice low, urgent. "There," she whispered, pointing to a group of cloaked figures slipping through the crowd, their crescent moon masks gleaming under torchlight, their movements deliberate. Unlike the revelers, they carried no beads, their black cloaks stark against the parade's colors. The Order. They're heading somewhere fast. Julian's pulse quickened, the masks a chilling echo of the murder scenes. "They're moving to Magnolia's End," he said, gripping her arm. "Stay close, blend in. We follow, but don't engage until we're sure." They merged with the crowd, their masks and the parade's chaos their cover, trailing the procession down a side street where the floats din faded. The Order's group, 6 figures, silent and swift, veered into an alley off Chartres Street, their cloaks billowing like shadows. Julian and Celeste ducked behind a pile of parade debris, watching as the figures descended a hidden grate, the same bootlegger tunnel network Julian had uncovered with Tommy. The tunnel led to Magnolia's end, the ritual's heart, and the Order's secrecy confirmed their urgency. Celeste's camera clicked softly, capturing the procession, her amulet a faint shield against the danger ahead. "They're not stopping for the parade," Celeste said, her voice tense. "The 9th victim's probably already chosen, maybe one of them. We need to get to the plantation before the ritual starts." Julian nodded, his scar itching, Amelie's words, "The moon must fall," a mantra. "We used the tunnel, but we're walking into their lair. Devereaux's there, and he'll have guards. Zora's talisman might help, but it's us against them." He checked his revolver, the weight grounding him, and lifted the grate, its hinges creaking in the alley's hush. They descended, the tunnel's damp chill swallowing the parade's roar. The air was heavy with mold and the faint tang of blood, the walls scratched with crescent moon symbols. Julian's lantern cast flickering shadows, Celeste's flashlight steady as they followed the Order's trail. The procession's footsteps echoed faintly ahead, a rhythmic march to the ritual's climax. Julian's heart pounded. Each step brought them closer to the killer, to Devereaux, to the truth about Amelie's death. Celeste's hand brushed his, her resolve a mirror to his own. "We stop them tonight, Julian. For Amelie, for Clara, for everyone they've taken." Her voice was steel, her bruise from the abduction a badge of defiance. As they pressed deeper, the tunnel's darkness seemed to pulse, the crescent moon's shadow looming above, its light guiding the Order to their bloody endgame. Julian gripped the talisman, ready to face the killer's blade and shatter the ritual before the final sacrifice fell.